And this will be again one of my simple soaps. I will use the calendula flower infused olive oil for the as a main oil in my soap, and I will use the carrot juice for my lye water. I have frozen already some of the carrot juice here, and this will go into my lye water solution and come out, and little bit added this one to mix out my salt and citric acid, which I am adding in my lye water solution. In the small soaps, my simple soaps, I don't care so much about the temperatures. The lye water can heat up, but I don't want carrot juice to be scorched, so that's why it's frozen. So let's start. I'm adding my salt. Salt I'm adding for the hardness of the soap, and it makes for the pleasant unmolding experience, and also it helps the soap to be harder in a shower, to last longer. Many people who buy soaps from me and have previously bought some soaps from some other soap makers who make handmade soap said that my soaps are harder than the other soaps in the shower, so probably it works. So yeah, I'm adding a little bit of carrot juice to dissolve my salt and citric acid, because otherwise it will be too hard to mix it out together with the lye. It's better to mix it out before. It's not completely dissolved, but it's dissolved enough, and now I'm adding rest of the liquid with the frozen carrot juice. When you are adding the water to your lye water, if you have a little more of the liquid, that's no harm. If you have not enough liquid, it also depends what you are using. There should be at least as much liquid as there is sodium hydroxide or lye. But I use 40% lye concentration in my soaps always, because that helps to avoid the soda ash as much as possible. Some soaps still get the soda ash, but it's not such a big problem. But usually there is not much of the soda ash if you use 40% lye concentration in your soap. But there should be at least 50-50. As much as you put the lye, there should be water. And also, since I add the salt and citric acid, I think it should be a little more of the liquid for all these things to dissolve and react out with the water. And now I will gradually add my lye. I prefer to add half and half, not all at once, because it's easier to mix it out that way, to dissolve it. Otherwise, sometimes some little piece might hide in a corner and it might be hard to mix it out. Why did I choose to add both calendula and carrot? It's because it makes for a nicer color, because carrot adds a little bit of the yellow color, so I don't need to think about that too much. And also it's nice to have this double addition. And I haven't done this combination before, so I'm kind of curious to see how it comes out. If you have watched my previous videos, I have told that these small simple soaps, which I make like for everyday use, I am happy to make some experiments, because this is just a small batch and people are happy to buy these small soaps for their everyday use. There is no design involved, no special design, it's just the soap as it comes out. So the next step, I will do my hard oils, and I can do my liquid oils while I am melting the hard oils. The coconut oil comes first. Coconut oil gives a nice bubbles to your soap, and it adds to the cleansing for the soap. That is one of the oils which has the hardest cleansing in a soap world, so there shouldn't be too much of it, otherwise the soap will be too drying, too cleansing. If you make a high percentage coconut oil soap, then you probably need some additional super fat in your soap, of the fats which are not used in a soap but just as addition, otherwise it will be too drying on your skin. I am adding a little bit of shea butter, not much. I recently tried to recalculate my recipe and add different kinds of oils in my soap and see if I can use the avocado oil instead of my neem oil, which I'm using in my soap. And I discovered very interesting truths. If you take your oils which you prefer to have in your soap, my holy trinity is the coconut oil, olive oil, and castor oil. But I have in my usual soap recipe, I have 6 oils, as you will see. And if you play with the soap calc and see how you can get best out of all these oils and make this very balanced recipe, and you know that that recipe works and you're happy with it, then it's very nice. But if you try to change some oil and see how you can incorporate it there, sometimes you discover actually you have very good recipe, and changing some oil or adding some oil just for, you know, like for the, because you want to, like I was trying to add or change things or add the avocado oil, and I couldn't get any better recipe by adding avocado oil. No matter how I tried, I just, you know, tried to play around and nothing really kind of changed the soap for better. This is my cocoa butter. I used to use the cacao butter, but it's, you know, the cacao butter has come to hard times, and I use the cocoa butter instead. This is a little bit different, but not too much different. Basically, you can use it in the same amount, at least in my recipe, I can use it in the same amount, and it doesn't really change the properties of your soap. Very little change in the properties of your soap for using the cocoa butter. And yeah, it used to be more expensive, but now it's kind of the same price or even cheaper than the cacao butter I can get. So I'm happy to use it. It changes a little bit a process of making the soap. Soap batter is a little more fiddly. I have to be more careful. I kind of can seize easier with some additions, but it's not too different. And after I have made few soaps, I kind of even don't see the difference too much anymore. But as the end product, it doesn't really have any sizable differences. I don't really see any big differences. So this goes to melt now. We are doing our liquid oil portion. So this is the infused olive oil. Some people infusing the calendula flower into the olive oil, they just put the petals. I put the whole flowers. I don't see why I shouldn't put the whole flowers, because there are good things in a stems too, in the middle of the flower, not just in the petals. And these are not this year's calendula flowers. These I had left from the last year. I just, they were put away somewhere, and I did tidy up my cupboards, and I found them, and I thought, okay, I will use them. I will use them to make the soap. And since they were very nicely wrapped, they didn't lose all the color. So you see, I have the beautiful calendula petals, which I grounded up a little smaller, and I will add them for the speckles to the soap and for a little bit of exfoliation. I recently bought this, I don't know how to call it, it's not a sieve, but just this thing, and it takes longer to get oil through it, but then you are pretty sure that you don't have any little particles, little unwanted particles in your soap. Because sometimes not only the nice things jump through the sieve, but also ones which you wouldn't want there. But in this case, I will have only oil coming through. Olive oil is great in a soap. I mean, even the price have gone up, but it's still available, and I really like it in a soap. I have used the sunflower oil before, but I didn't really like the result too much, because it gave me dreaded orange spots, unfortunately. So I'm not very keen on using the sunflower oil, unless the olive oil will not be available totally. Then I might use the sunflower oil, but since I use such a big percentage, and I really love the properties, like conditioning properties, which olive oil brings to the soap, that you know, yeah, I was calculating with the avocado oil, it's much more expensive and it doesn't give so much conditioning properties to the soap as the olive oil does. I don't know, I might still try to make one soap with the using avocado oil if I would try to make avocado soap, but I don't really see the reason why I should add the olive oil instead of olive oil, or instead of any other oil add the avocado oil, because it just doesn't improve any qualities of the soap. Somehow I don't see any really reasonable difference. Now my neem oil, I just need a tiny bit, I don't use too much, because if you add too much of the neem oil then the soap seizes very quickly and also the batter gets very dark. And this is my friend the castor oil, I love it very much. If you add the oils and for some reason you add just a tiny bit more of oil than the recipe calls for, don't be, you know, don't be unhappy. It's okay. Only thing which you shouldn't overdose under any circumstances, it's your lye, your natrium hydroxide. If you add too much lye, you will have lye heavy soap, which can burn your hands, or which can create your skin problems, so don't do that. But if you add a little more water or little more oil, there is no problem. Don't add too much, but little is fine. So I'm usually adding the coconut milk to my soap, but this time I'm adding the full amount of liquid as the carrot juice, so I cannot add the coconut milk there anymore. So I'm using some coconut milk powder. I really like the coconut milk in my soap because it adds creaminess and richness to the soap. So I am adding it as a coconut milk powder. I am adding also the calendula petals. Another one of my favorite additions to the soap is a clay, so white kaolin clay is the soap is a clay which I add most of the time. It gives a nice slip to the soap, and also it helps to keep the fragrances in the soap much better. They stick to the clay and don't disappear as fast, especially, you know, fleeting fragrances like orange essential oil. It still disappears, but not as fast and not as surely as if you don't add the clay. So I'm adding also my essential oils right to the oils. This time I will add the vetiver essential oil, just a little bit, because that's an expensive oil. I don't want to splash on it, even if I like it very much. I am not adding too much of it. And it also has quite a strong flavor. And I'm adding a little bit of ginger essential oil, also not too much, just a little bit. Kind of I have kind of chosen quite a strong essential oils for this soap. Chamomile essential oil. I like very much. In a soap it smells a little different than it smells in a bottle. If you want really fragrance which is very close to the real chamomile smell, then use the chamomile German blue, because it smells closest to the real chamomile fragrance. Others kind of don't smell so chamomile-y. It smells a little different, but it's also one of the expensive essential oils, so be sparing with it. I'm not adding much, exactly for that reason. And it also has dark color, the German chamomile. So I'm adding the lemon verbena for a little freshness. And then I'm adding a little bit of five-fold orange. It might disappear. I don't know, we'll see. But I would like to have it there. It smells together very nice. So yeah, I think that's it. I have weighed everything so I can take the scale away. My hard oils have melted, so I can add them to my liquid oils. Okay, you can see that my live water is nice orange color. Unfortunately, the soap will not be as nice and orange as this. It just adds a nice yellow tint to the soap, just a little bit. Light yellow color there. So first I will mix just the oils as they are with the additions to mix them in better. I think it's mixed enough. And since my ingredients are quite warm, I have to and it has a floral fragrances, so I have to be ready very quickly to pour my soap. So I have everything ready for that. I think that has thickened enough, and I don't want to overdo it, otherwise I will have trouble pouring it, because I can feel that it is in a stage when it can start running towards the goal very quickly. see the speckles right now, but they will be visible when soap saponifies, because the speckles will be more pronounced then. So, and I will put it in a thermobox so it will go through the gel, or I hope it will go through the gel, and then we will meet for cutting. And this is the next morning. Soap has come out of the thermobox, and to my surprise it's actually quite yellow. I didn't expect that. Maybe that's because of the essential oils, and or they were especially yellow carrots, but probably during the curing time it will lose some color. That usually the yellow colors are kind of fleeting ones. They like to run away. They not so strong, but it will be nice yellow color anyways. Let's see. Come out. And I don't need to keep my soaps for 24 hours, wait 24 hours before cutting, because I am adding salt to my soap. It makes it harden faster, and sometimes if you wait for too long it's hard to cut actually. But it's not a salt soap, but just a little addition to the salt to your soap just makes the process faster. So it's not even 24 hours. I was making that soap in the evening, and now it's the morning, so I would say like 16 hours. You can see actually it's like on the top, but I think the final result will be like here on the outside. It will get lighter color, and the dots, the little dots will get more pronounced. Okay, they are pretty much the same all the way inside. If you would like to see more videos like this from me, then you can subscribe to the channel. And if you have watched so far, then you probably like the video, so leave the thumbs up. That helps a lot. And see you next time. Ciao.